When people come together, there's fires that get lit inside of us. So it's amazing.
One man.
Put the logo in.
I just got a flag.
I might also be doing stuff that he has no interest in putting on the site.
That's right. Now our minds are one.
That sums it up.
Right.
Scrap what I said.
Yeah.
One mind.
One mind. That's it. That's the power. Unity, strength, peace. One mind, that's strength, and there's peace. No war with that. Right. Unity, strength, peace.
The spiritual enlightenment is paradigm. Just like all the...
That's
everyone
exactly
says,
what it is.
But it's supporting the indigenous and really representing, it's never forgetting where we came from.
Right.
And everybody gets what's
We're all
next.
one. This is what it's all based on.
That's it.
Today is about bringing people together to help organize a grassroots movement in favor of social justice, progress, and basically our civil liberties and rights. June 24th, 25th, and 26th is going to be a day of unity, a day of non-compliance, of peaceful non-compliance in Toronto. Thank you, guys.
Let's hope we organize a really memorable event this year. Thank you.
We've been doing the radio shows. We've been doing the viral videos. We've been getting out the information to the public. We produce the movies on G20. Do a pen. These are people that care. We're talking. This is where it starts, in this room. History. History is starting. Right around here. Look around. These are people that care.
Word up, historic moment, G20 first meeting for the 1-year anniversary.
This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Good afternoon, everyone. Today marks exactly 1 year since the G20 summit in downtown Toronto, which saw the largest mass arrest in Canadian history. Many of us were out on the streets bringing attention to the realities of the deteriorating environment and the threats to Indigenous rights, immigrant rights, and human rights. We have to remind ourselves of all of these things because these issues were buried by the corporate media amid images of burning cop cars and swinging batons. On June 26 and 27, 2010, $1 billion of taxpayer money was spent on 20,000 police officers who turned the city of Toronto into a public. And today, we gather here on the lawn of Queen's Park, the so-called designated protest zone, where many of us were tear-gassed, brutalized, and arrested by G20 forces to send a message. We have not forgotten. And we may have been beaten, arrested, and told to stay home. But 1 year later, we are still here fighting for justice in our communities.
Bonjour. Ogajige Higan in Indigenous Magazine Dodam. Mississauga and Dow. Your credit Dunji. Namkagewen. Wasa Kubinjubang. Runishki Babigum. Kadaka Jumwad. We the Bimshanai, we don't Shanai. There's a page ago, bucket in. There's a page ago, within the Dahalan. We Jaga, we Bawishna. There's a page ago. We, this prayer says, welcome. You've come far. We've waited long. Come and partake of the same food that allies are eating.
All of this. I want to know what role was the OPP playing in all of this? The RCMP, what role did they play? And the 5 or 6 police forces from outside of our province, what role did they play in the mayhem that ensued a year ago? Let us down, Chief Blair. You did not protect the citizens of this community, Chief Blair.
It's good. Logic reporting in from the G20 rally, 1 year anniversary. We came out here to show solidarity and support. There was a bit of a mix-up. We thought we were supposed to play, and the organizers aren't given much voice to the more radical side of the organizing. And I know there's a lot of bureaucracy that goes on with stuff like this, and that's one of the things I don't like, is that top-down mentality. That's why anarchists, take that pyramid, flip it upside down, so the people have the say collectively, and it's not just an authoritarian decision-making. Like, a lot of people here are from a more liberal, mainstream background, and they saw their rights trampled on, and they're upset about that, rightfully so. But what most people here, I don't think, fail to penetrate beyond the layers of privilege to realize that all those privileges are there just to keep you in line. so you don't rock the boat. They courted a confrontation in the streets of Toronto, but that doesn't mean everybody who was smashing windows was a police officer or provocateur. I mean, that either-or mentality is too simplistic. There's people who are willing to put themselves on the line to you know, disrupt the status quo, and they're not all police. And there's a lot of people still facing charges for all that. So,
bam, test their logic. A, that's what's up. They're very much trying to silence and minimize the anarchist voice. They aren't in solidarity with us. You know, they want us here, they want our numbers, but they don't want our perspectives, and they don't want us to have a voice. And so even though they were chanting the chant that we came up with during the G20 in our song that we got charged with conspiracy for, at this supposed free speech rally, the people who got charged criminally for writing a song don't get to speak. So it's like, who's silencing who, and like, how the fuck is this a rally for freedom of speech when you don't even value the voices that were silenced the most at the G20.
Really here, G20 anniversary. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, I'm just handing out DVDs. I've got like 70 copies burned in the packages and maybe another 100 just in sleeves. And
we are moved to the Eastern Detention Center. I am placed in a cage by myself, and over time, more men and children are added. They will not remove my handcuffs. They give me an old wheelchair without a cushion to sit on. I am held until 10 o'clock on Sunday evening. When I was held, the police said they could not process me, and there was no paperwork to tell them why I was there. When I am released, they return my leg. They cannot locate my 2 walking sticks, my glasses, about $33 in cash, and a whistle. They said they would look for the items and contact me. I was never charged with any offense. To this day, I do not know why I was dragged away from Queen's Park. It still feels like I was kidnapped. I was violated when they ripped my leg off, and they looted my possessions. In the picture, there is an officer who's holding my 2 walking sticks. The walking sticks have never been returned to me. In the picture, I am hanging onto my glasses by the end of one of its arms. Later, the police knocked the glasses out of my mouth and took control of them. My glasses are never returned to me. Did the police throw my property away? Did an officer take my walking sticks home as a trophy? Did they spend my money for beers at a bar? I'm deeply troubled that the police did not return my disability aid. Bill Blair should resign or he should be fired.
They didn't put me out, they abandoned me. They left me out the street to burn. They're so lonely when you burn. My police car now go fire.
When the police, they kept moving forward, but they moved forward and they gave us an order to move. I was sitting on the ground at the time, and so were the people around me, and the police surrounded us.
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
Thank you so much, sisters and brothers.
Our next speaker is Judy Reddick.
And I said, there hasn't been a dangerous anarchist in Toronto since 1895.
Former parliamentary Page. Bridget made international news when she walked onto the Senate floor during the speech of the throne, carrying a sign reading "Stop Harper."
Some of you may know me as the Rogue Page. Others know me by the title that Minister Jason Kenney came up with, Lefty Kook. After my action in the Senate, the National Post asked, what if she had been carrying anthrax? Instead of a Stop Harper sign. I say stop, you say Harper. Stop! Harper! Stop! Harper! When I say stop, you say Harper. Stop! Harper! Stop! Harper! Stop! Harper! Yeah! Thank you so much.
So we're going to go right into a performance. Our next performers and our final performer are combining live are called Tiny Danza. Tiny Danza has a signature sound that has been described as a perfect blend of hip-hop, R&B, and rock. Please help me in welcoming Tiny Danza.
Thank you, Toronto. We are Tiny Danza.
Never give up on our rights. Thank you very much for coming out. Thank you to our band who helped entertain us.
Fucking colonizers just keep on taking. February 20 taking front invasion. G20 Julie, Bay Street blazing. Kill the SPP whenever it gets stationed. Take over everything with occupation. More revolts, more self-determination. Social war against this nation. No control against domination. Against the empire and its colonization. Against the war and the government agent. Against authority for liberation. G-20, debut, we many. G-20, debut, we many. G-20, debut, we many. G-20, debut, we many. Put your hands up in the air, y'all. Whose streets? Our streets! 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 Whose streets? Your streets! Whose streets? My streets! Whose streets? Your streets!
I need gas in my car.
Freedom!
justice! No justice! United will never be defeated! The people united will never be defeated! The people united will never be defeated! Go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Bill Blair has got to go, hey, hey! Ho, ho! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our streets! Our corner! Our corner! Our corner! Our corner! Charges! Drop the charges! Drop the charges! Drop the charges! Woo! Charges! Charges! Charges!
I would like to remind you that on June 27, 2010, the whole world watched at this intersection an unprecedented breaking of rights and defeating of Canadian citizens at the hands of Toronto Police Service. Whose streets? Our streets! 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 Off the sidewalks and into the streets! Off the sidewalks and into the streets! Off the sidewalks and into the streets!
Peace and freedom for all the world! Canada has the ability to stand on behalf of those who cannot! This is why we march!
Right on! That's awesome! Wake up out of your dream, guys! There's a real world out there, and it's not full of new stuff and MP3 players. It's full of war and death and children dying. And our freedoms. Thank you, officers. Turn off your TV, turn on your mind!
We're occupying this intersection!
We're occupying this intersection!
Because 1 year ago!
Because 1 year ago!
On this weekend!
On this weekend!
The Toronto Police!
The Toronto Police!
The
The RCMP!
And the OPP!
And the OPP!
Assaulted!
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
Thanks, bud.
Our city! Our city! Our city! Our city!
Very well planned. A lot of people showed up, and it's nice to be here on Queen and Spadina again. Shutting down traffic. The whole city is being shut down, jammed here. It's all because of G20 Toronto, so it's good. Being kettled in again.
1 year later, Bill Blair has stated there will be an exit. In future kettling, there will be an exit.
We are now walking away from Queen and Spadina. We're walking to apparently confront Bill Blair. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but it's not.
Trying to hold you up!
Hello!
G20 Summit, specifically the G20 Summit in downtown Toronto.
The freedom for expression, the freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, we're all united. We don't forget what happened. The world was watching what happened here at the G20. The largest mass arrest in Canadian history. Power to the people. That's it.
Respect and dignity, not police brutality.
Adam Nobody, contrary to Bill Blair's statements, was not an armed individual. Adam Nobody This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Later, that's what I'm saying. It's getting worse and worse and worse because you rejected Jesus. Why is all this happening? Why did 9/11 happen? Because you rejected Jesus.
A public inquiry. When do we want it? Now. What do we? I would like to remind you of an event that occurred almost exactly 1 year ago. The G8 summits in Huntsville and the G20 summit in Toronto resulted in the most drastic dissolution of charter rights in the history of this city. Shame! Those streets! Our streets! Those streets! Our streets! Those streets! Our streets! This is an anniversary that we will never forget, and we're not going to stop speaking the truth. This is freedom of speech in this country, and we can't stop. We won't stop. We're going to move forward. We ain't going to stop from this day. You keep pushing. You keep trying to get a public inquiry. No prison, community resistance. No prison, community resistance.
Everyone knows what happened was fucked up. Like,
Public needs to know.
They do.
Yo, look at them. They're in SWAT gear and shit.
We've marched all the way from Queen's Park down to the Toronto Police Headquarters.
Red Rover! Red Rover!
You guys are crazy. Crazy, waving in the sky. We're marching to protect our freedom of speech, our freedom of political thought, and our rights as the youth, as the future of Canada. We will not be the guinea pigs in the prison industry. We will not be the ones brutalized and put to jail. So court clerks and lawyers and judges and the whole system can have money. Go back to the drawing board and create a new industry, because the slave catcher industry will not come to Canada.
What do we want? Public inquiry. And when do we want it? Now. What do we want? Public inquiry. And when do we want it? Now. What do we want? Public inquiry. And when do we want it? Now. What do we want? Public inquiry. And when do we want it? Now.
And I will add, whose fault is this? It's Harper's fault. Stephen Harper is to blame for this.
Fuck Stephen
Harper. Right. Bill Blair has got to go.
Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Bill Blair has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Bill Blair has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Bill Blair has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Bill Blair has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Bill Blair has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Bill Blair has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Bill Blair has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Bill Blair has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Bill Blair has got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. Bill Blair has got to go. Hey, hey. He is not your leader. Super prisons, fighter jets, illegal wars.
I want to ask him if it's based on a lie. I want to ask him what's like to go to the
Spokesperson, we're not speaking for all of us. You're the
Share the megaphone. Share the Red Gang Control Police Service. Gang control. Let's put the order. Gang control. Ladies and gentlemen, on June 25th and 26th, 2010, our chief failed us.
Not my chief. Not my chief.
The Toronto Police Chief, if Chief failed, you must resign. The Chief failed, you must resign. The Chief failed, you must resign.
No, we say the police failed, and we say that the police chief failed, but what were they charged to do?